Hello there. More and more among the younger generation across Europe are waking up to the threats from open borders and woke. This will shatter European politics as we know it, as the young abandons the left and turns to the right for answers. While we in the UK are destined to live under the continuity woke lab-con uniparty state system, it looks like much of the rest of Europe is ready to throw those shackles off. In the UK, we get bombarded by the mainstream press image of a country being controlled by a few male, stale and pale old codgers grimly fighting against the woke progress. But fear not, says the media. Once they've shuffled off their mortal coils and the woke younger generations are let free to take the reins of power, then a globalist socialist utopian state will emerge. But nothing could be further from the truth. There is a growing sense among the young people in the West that they are being lied to. That they are to be the sacrificial lambs placed on the altar of multiculturalism, a multiculturalism that excludes them. Remember, this is the generation that has to sit throughout their education, training and employment, sucking up all things hateful against their homeland and its people. They live it every single day. And they have to show their dedication to it or risk losing their livelihood or more. They are also the ones most likely to be overlooked for help of any sort or at the back of the queue when it comes to jobs and promotion. They know the truth. They just need a chance to show it. In fact, we need to free our youngsters from the shackles of this insidious and destructive Marxist dogma. DEI, for a start, must die. But across the EU, the signs are that the younger people are now ready to rise up against the woke EU. Here's what Politico.eu reported yesterday. Far-right parties are surging across Europe and young voters are buying in. Many parties with anti-immigrant agendas are even seeing support from first-time young voters in the upcoming June 6th to the 9th European Parliament election. Now, I will say that reference to far-right parties is an indication of where the press lies on these matters. But this will come as a very nasty shock for the Eurocrats. The Eurocrats have become accustomed to the 5-yearly ritual of compliant MEPs coming to Strasbourg and rubber stamping what's put in front of them. Except, of course, for those troublesome UKIP MEPs, if you remember. And Politico continues with this. In Belgium, France, Portugal, Germany and Finland, younger voters are backing anti-immigration and anti-establishment parties in numbers equal to and even exceeding older voters. Analysis of recent elections and research of young people's political preferences suggest. So the younger generations are now opting for the right, more than their forebears. And the report also says that in Germany and Finland, the polling data suggests that the leftist Greens are now losing popularity. But how will this translate on the ground into seats in the EU Parliament? Well, according to Politico, MEPs from far-right parties look set to outnumber those from the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen's centre-right European People's Party after next week's election, polls now suggest. Now, I must admit, I'm not sure that much like the Tories, the EPP really is centre-right, unless you're measuring the political spectrum putting communism as the centre band. So von der Leyen could well be out as EU Commission President after these elections. Now, Connection France is reporting that Marine Le Pen's National Rally Party, currently led by 28-year-old Jordan Bardella, with Le Pen as the party president, is now leading the French polls. But there are other pressures building within the EU power structure. In the past, the Franco-German partnership was the foundation of the EU, a partnership that set the direction and agenda for the whole European Union. It was tradition, almost baked into everything EU. But not for much longer. The German and French leaders are now seen as lame ducks. Lame ducks that need to be swept aside. Now Emmanuel Macron and Olaf Scholz are due to meet, with Politico reporting that according to a French official, Macron aims to set the agenda and lay out strategic priorities for Europe's future, alongside his German counterpart Olaf Scholz during the visit. Well, that's par for the course for the old EU, isn't it? But Politico continues, the problem is that Europe isn't sure these two, the fabled Franco-German engine of the EU project, should be in charge anymore. Especially as the polls indicate that Macron could well be routed by Marine Le Pen's National Rally, and Olaf Scholz could find his party down in third place. So much for agenda setting. But it's even worse than that. Let's start with Germany. This from Breitbart. A survey from the largest financial services company in Europe has found that more Germans see membership in the European Union as a disadvantage for their country than those who see it as a positive, as the public mood turns against the bloc. The wheels are coming off the EU axles, while the seams are unravelling too, as its net rating becomes negative 2.9% in Germany, where only 29% of respondents saw more advantages to being inside the EU. And do you remember the post-Brexit vote days when Eurocrats were all looking down snootily at us, saying that once they'd rid themselves of those troublesome Brits, then all would be sweetness and light within the European Union? Remember that? I do. And Breitbart goes on to say that the report from Munich-based multinational financial services company Allianz said, "The mood is bad, the outlook bleak." But it also said this on the previously positive view about the EU in Germany. The trend reversal is obvious. And also that the Germans had never been so pessimistic. It seems that the message that the geo-economic framework is currently shifting to Germany's disadvantage has finally sunk in, said Allianz. However, in the EU-loving France, the view of Europe was even more dour in France, reports Breitbart, with fewer than 1 in 5 saying that EU membership was a benefit to France. Furthermore, French perception of the bloc stood at net percentage of negative 22.3 and minus 18.3% for the euro currency. Well, wow. It sounds to me like only the insane would want to join or rejoin a club like that, where its current members are so unhappy. Makes our Brexit referendum results look positively pro-EU, doesn't it? Now, the Allianz report suggests that immigration was only 5th on the list of concerns for respondents, behind the economy. But I would argue that the parties the young in Europe are starting to now support shows that immigration is somewhere near the top of the list, at least for them. Remember, it's woke that's making us all broke. Now, I wonder how the Republic of Ireland will be voting in June. And how long before the UK wokerati are condemning all politics European Union?